You've heard of Starsky and Hutch. You've heard of Crockett and Tubbs. Now let's go back to where it all began, to the days of the original tough cops, when a man could be a man.
Francis, would you help me?
And a cop could become Herman Munster. Meet Francis Muldoon and Gunther Tootie. Witness the fast cars, tough talk.
We've got to get some people to go to Joel's bar mitzvah.
Dangerous weapons and innovative spying techniques. The original tough cops. Car 54, Where Are You? On Nick at Night.
In Grandmother's house, the tree was always decorated with wonderful things to eat, remember? Like chestnuts and cranberries and every kind of fruit. But with my children around and helping, well, I can't expect it to stay on the tree very long. In fact, I think I'll steal a lemon myself. Have you ever tried Coca-Cola with a squeeze of lemon or lime? You know, it's true that things go better with Coke. Everyone loves that refreshing new feeling you get only from Coca-Cola. You see, Coke's a natural. Its wholesome blending of pure food flavors provides a bit of quick energy. And Coke is not too sweet. I like this economical family-size bottle. It's perfect for guests or at the dinner table. Uh-oh. It looks like my helpers have been helping themselves. Well, I'd better go check the Coke.
I can make you a magician. Watch closely. I shall pull a bowling ball out of my coat pocket. There you are. This is a Brunswick Bowler's Gift Certificate. There's extra magic in this certificate, too, because it makes Christmas come twice. When you give it, and when the lucky bowler chooses his own ball, bag, or shoes from the most complete line of quality bowling gifts that Brunswick has ever offered. There are fine gifts like this new luggage-style Caravel bag. New fashions in ladies' bowling shoes, like these Brunswick Bowlers by Capezio. New men's styles, too, and 11 different colors in bowling balls. So go to your local Brunswick dealer now and pick up a Bowler's Gift Certificate. Work a little bit of magic this Christmas from Brunswick, the #1 name in bowling.
Don't think of Car 54 as just another cop show. Think of it as a half hour stuck in traffic with a guy named Tootie. Car 54, Where Are You? Every night on Nick at Night.
Sitcom, all ye faithful, a Christmas podcast special. And for the 5th time I discussed 25 Christmas sitcom episodes. Please come and listen as we count down to Christmas. You should see Mr. Wilson, Tom Hanks, and Danny Thomas. Sherman Helmsley will return, and we head back to Springfield. We're definitely spending Christmas in Springfield.
Christmas!
There's a holdup in the Bronx, Brooklyn's broken out in fights. There's a traffic jam in Harlem that's backed up to Jackson Heights. There's a scout troop short a child, cruise ships do, and I know wild.
Car 54, where are you? Happy Tuesday, everybody. It's Tuesday, December 23rd, and welcome back to Sitcom, all ye faithful. Yes, it is the 23rd of December, and for the 23rd day in a row, I am here talking Christmas sitcoms to you. And today, I went back to the 60s. I thought for a second back to the 50s, but no, we are in the 60s here, back to 1961, where today I am talking about the first season episode of Car 54, Where Are You? There's a lot of numbers in this title because the show is called Car 54, Where Are You? And the episode is called Christmas at the 53rd. Not that confusing if you realize the 53rd is the precinct that these police officers work at. Yes, Car 54, Where Are You? Is a police sitcom. And when I first did Christmas, Sitcom All Ye Faithful, one of the shows that I definitely wanted to revisit and talk about was The Munsters. And wouldn't you know it, as far as I can tell, as far as I've looked, there is not a Christmas episode of The Munsters. And I was like, I want a Christmas episode of The Munsters. I want it. But there isn't one. So if I can't get a show with the Munsters, I might as well do the second best thing and get a show with the actors from the Munsters. Yes, because Car 54, Where Are You, features two classic sitcom actors, two stars of the Munsters. Yes, Fred Gwynne and Al Lewis, Herman Munster and Grandpa, both are on this show. And they are both playing police officers, and it looks like they're both in their 30s, but again, it looks like this is the 60s, so they kind of look like they're in their 50s. And all I know is I remember being a kid. Now, at the beginning of the episode, there are some correct, like at least as far as YouTube's saying, actual commercials from the 60s. There's a Coca-Cola commercial talking about how wonderful it is. And it's funny because I found another one where the same woman's talking about how Coca-Cola helps her keep thin. And I was like, didn't do that for me. But I couldn't find like promos from the 60s for the Car 54, but I did find some promos from Nick at Night, because that is where I discovered the show. Or at least I should say that's where I first watched the show, because it was kind of my dad who said, you should watch this show. And I remember being blown away that Herman Munster did something before the Munsters. To me, there was only two things at this point that I knew Fred Gwynne from. It was the Munsters, and I think at this point it might have only been The Boy Who Could Fly. I think, wasn't he like the neighbor in that? This was, I'm going to say, pre-Pet Sematary, pre-My Cousin Vinny. So to me, he was always Herman Munster until I discovered he was also Officer Francis Muldoon. And to me, when I think Car 54, even though I think of Fred Gwynne first, the first noise out of my mouth is that of Joe E. Ross, Officer Gunther Tootie. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Now, I don't know if this is as classic or beloved as, like, I think it is, or I thought it was. Because if I went, ooh, 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 Officer Tootie, would people, like, make that connection? Do people remember this show? It was on from 1961 to 1963, I believe. There's only 2 seasons. That's it. Oh my God, there wasn't a third season, just 2 seasons of Car 54, Where Are You? And yet it kind of, like, I'm going to say it probably found a second life with Nick at Night, because the crazy thing is a show comes, it stars 2 guys that are, beloved for being other characters. Al Lewis isn't one of the main 2 stars of the show. That would be Joe E. Ross and, not Joey Ross, Joe E. Ross and Fred Gwynne. Like, those are the 2 main stars of the show, Tootie and Muldoon. But Al Lewis played a character for, on every season. And what's interesting is not only is Fred Gwynne and Al Lewis on this show, but also playing Al Lewis's wife. He was Leo Schnauzer, playing Mrs. Schnauzer for not a lot. In fact, the character of Mrs. Schnauzer was in this, but they didn't show her face because apparently they didn't get the actor for this episode, Charlotte Ray, Mrs. Garrett herself from Facts of Life. Now, I did not know she was part of this show. I just remembered Fred Gwynne and Al Lewis. Who else was on this show for 15 episodes who I didn't realize? Friggin' Nipsey Russell. Nipsey Russell himself plays Officer Dave Anderson. He was in this episode. It says only in 11 episodes, but he was in this one. He was in it for a minute, and he didn't do too much, but he was there. What's interesting is it only lasted 2 seasons, but it did have 60 episodes. So that's not bad. That's like 30. That is 30 episodes per season. And I read something where it said NBC wanted to buy part ownership of the show in exchange for it being renewed for a 3rd season. The creator refused, and the show sponsor Procter & Gamble tried to take the show to CBS, but the network had no room on its schedule. The creator, Nat Hiken, had become burnt out on the show due to its single camera setup, which required more time. He also had constant problems with Joe E. Ross, who had trouble remembering his lines. Hyken gladly ended the show and never worked on another series again. Oh, interesting. So Joe E. Ross, I know him mainly as Gunther Tootie. In fact, well, it looks like he passed away in 1982. He was born in 1914. So let me do the math. If he was 70, that would be 84. So he was only in his 60s when he passed away. But I feel like that's like saying you're in your 90s back in the 80s. He did a lot of TV stuff, but I think he was also in The Happy Hooker Goes to Washington. But I think he's probably most known for this. In fact, it looks like he's in this. And the second thing he's most known for is The Love Bug. Oh, interesting. He's in The Love Bug. Maybe I recognize him from that. Remember that TV show Ghostbusters with the gorilla? He was in one episode of that, and he was on the Phil Rivers show for years. So that might be something he's even more famous for before Car 54, Where Are You? But the craziest thing to me is that before we even get to the talking about this episode, is that this show lasted 2 years in the 1960s. Not considered. I wouldn't consider it a world it's hard to say. Maybe it wasn't a super successful show. I don't know. Because it was only on for 2 seasons. So what the hell? Like that, if that story is correct, just because NBC wanted part ownership, that's how it went away. But what I guess the 90s was a weird time for them people just needed ideas for movies, and they're like, well, if there's a TV show property out there, let's make a movie of it, because friggin' Car 54, Where Are You got a movie in 1994 that I almost forgot even existed, except when I typed it into IMDb. Ladies and gentlemen, starring as Tootie and Muldoon. Okay, as Gunther Tootie, David Johansen, Buster Poindexter, David Johansen, the New York Dolls, is that his band? I mean, musician, actor, the ghost of, or is he the taxi driver? He's not the ghost of Christmas Past. He's just the taxi driver. Maybe he is the ghost of Christmas Past, right? In Scrooged? I don't know. So it's the 90s. So Fran Drescher's in it. It's the 90s. Rosie O'Donnell's in it. It's the 90s. Daniel Baldwin's in it. It's the 90s. Jeremy Piven's in it. And I can't believe the Eric Roberts in it. Of course, Eric Roberts in it. Why? Oh no, I'm sorry. It's Eliza Roberts. Eric Roberts is in the picture. So I don't know. Maybe that's his wife. Penn and Teller are both in it. Of course. Why wouldn't they? Tone Loc is in it. So this is all kind of making sense. But the only redeeming thing is that both Al Lewis and Nipsey Russell are in it, playing their exact same characters, which is weird because wouldn't they look at Tootie and Muldoon and say, you guys haven't aged. What's the matter? You got younger. Oh, my God. Or maybe they think they have the old man disease. I'm fading away. So that's the only redeeming value to that show. It has Car 54, Where Are You? Has a Rotten Tomato score. And you could take Rotten Tomatoes, with a grain of salt. But this has a Rotten Tomato score of 0%. Now, it's only on 17 reviews, but only if one person watched it and said, you know what, it's okay, it wouldn't have a 0%. Everybody who's watched it thinks it's awful. Even the popcorn, the audience score, Popcornometer, 5,000 plus ratings, a 12%, which is, I think, shockingly high, considering what I just saw like on a brief trailer when IMDb played this video. This looks like the most 90s piece of crap I've ever seen. It almost looks like it was shot on video, and not the digital film that we see today. I mean, video. It looks really, really bad. It's like, is this around the time they would do they did Coneheads? They did, that was an SNL thing, but we had Beverly Hillbillies. We were threatened with a Gilligan's Island movie for years. I remember hearing Martin Short's going to be Gilligan. Anything would have been better than this. This, I don't know, it just looks so awful. It looks like it maybe should have been just on USA, not even in theater, just direct to video, USA. I mean, it didn't even, a PG-13, an hour and 29 minutes. And I mean, okay, these actors, we know John C. McGinley. He's probably most known from Scrubs. Maybe at this point, he might be most known for Platoon. I don't know, but it's just, this is bad. It makes me feel bad for the show that this movie was made. So now let's talk about this episode. It's called Christmas at the 53rd. And when I first saw that, I thought maybe it's Christmas night and it's the cops dealing with Christmas night and how, they go about their night. Nope, not at all. This is an absolute, they basically put on a review. It's a Christmas party. So we get some fun things of the kids running all over the place. The kids answering the phone. One kid answers the phone and says, "Hi, Elliot Ness." Kids are going crazy with the fingerprint machine, the inks everywhere. They're running around. Everybody's having fun. All the families are there. The wives are there. The kids are there. Nipsey Russell's character, he was doing the switchboard, and he's like, "Maybe you could do this someday, son." And the son flips the switchboard. He's like, and he messed up. He's like, "Well, maybe not. Maybe you can work in sanitation." I forget what he made some kind of joke like, "Maybe you're not cut out for this." So it was like a few minutes of this, of kind of going around and seeing them have a party. The rest of the show was the party. The cops put on a show for everybody. And that was the rest of this episode, entirely. So it comes out with the captain. He's like, they say, "Captain, you have a good singing voice." He's like, no. And then he ends up doing this looks like it's Gilbert and Sullivan style song about him and being a wonderful captain. And then the cops in the background singing. And it's like, you never do this? I never raise my voice. Never, ever? Well, hardly ever. And these might be classic songs that are redone and tweaked a little for their show. So because they felt a little familiar, but I don't think they were written, their originals for Car 54 Where Are You? I don't think, but they were definitely, I think, tweaked a little bit to kind of fit more with the policemen and their story, their characters. Then one other cop comes out and does a magic trick, and his wife is the assistant. He's like, "You have to excuse her. She's getting used to a new girdle." I'm like, Jesus, dude. He's making all these he's being a kind of a, I guess in 1961 it's, "Oh, look at that husband being funny with his wife," and 2025 it's like, "Oh, look at that husband kind of being a dick to his wife," but in a quote unquote funny way. So he does a magic trick. The other police do this big review thing at the beginning. Al Lewis comes out, and his thing is Leo Schnauzer comes out. He's holding a torch. This is the policeman's torch about the brotherhood of policemen and the 5 pillars of the brotherhood. But the other guys he's singing with are arguing what order they go in, and it ends up turning into a fight, which I believe is all part of the skit. I don't think it was this happened on the show. I think that was part of the skit for the show, for the audience, because you hear the kids in the families in the precinct laughing. Then you get a nice moment where Tootie sings to his wife, "You're nobody till somebody loves you." And he actually he sounded pretty good. You get a song with him and Fred Gwynn singing together. One with, they did there was the Admiration Society. That's what I looked up, and it is an old song, the Mutual Admiration Society. Fred, he asked Fred, or I guess Officer Muldoon, "Hey, why don't you accompany me on guitar?" He's like, "Nobody wants to hear me play guitar." He's like, "Then why did you bring it?" Dun, 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 dun. Then there's they say nowadays we don't just get memos, we get recordings of updates from the main, the main policeman headquarters. I don't know. They got it on vinyl. So they get a vinyl. He goes, "Here's an update we got." So they play the vinyl, and it's talking about how policemen should dress. And the officer comes up, and he's showing off everything. They have their hat brim like this, centered to the nose. Here's their lapel. Here's their boots. Here's their shoes. And the guy kept going and saying too many different things at too many different times. And the police officer's trying to touch his shoe, trying to do. It was almost like a circus clown, like a mime thing. It was really well done. The guy's trying to show his belt, trying to show his gun, trying to show his handcuffs. And then at the end, he's all disheveled. And then they say, and the recording says, "And there he is, the perfectly dressed policeman." So that was pretty funny. It was just little vignettes of, songs, which is interesting that this is a season 1 show, and it's only 2 seasons. To me, this felt like you're watching characters that you've watched for years, and now you get to see them do something out of the ordinary, something where they are, singing. It's like, oh, there's our favorite characters singing and dancing. Instead, you've only known these people for 14 weeks. So, a few months, and now you're watching this. So I don't know if it lands the same, for people. This is the first season I'm watching this, and we're seeing these cops sing and dance. What the hell is this? But it didn't feel like it should be on the first season. I guess that's what I'm saying. But that pretty much covers it. Not my favorite part, but what I do love. Oh, I'm sorry. IMDb says 2 Gilbert and Sullivan parodies featuring Captain Block and Muldoon, and a heart-tugging song from Tootie. And also on the show, there's a woman who I know mostly from, I think she's the principal in Grease, Alice Ghostly. She sang a funny song about her boyfriend, Irving. Again, I don't know if that was taken from another song. It was a pretty clever song, so maybe. You recognize a bunch of these people. This guy, why do I recognize this guy? Carl Ballantine. Shirley Temple Storybook, Love American Style, Revenge of the Cheerleaders. No, I guess I don't recognize him from anything. He just looks like someone I should recognize. He's in 5 episodes of Garfield and His Friends. Maybe he was the great Ballantine on an episode of The Cosby Show. How would I keep coming back to The Cosby Show? I'm avoiding that show, and he was on all kinds of stuff in the 80s, from Night Court to What's Happening Now to Baby Talk with Scott Baio. Oh my goodness, this guy's actor for a while, but I don't know what I know him from. He just looks like maybe I've just seen him enough on so many things that he just has that face. But that pretty much covers everything that happened in the episode. This is on Christmas Eve of the world they're in. It's actually December 24th, and this is when they're having the party. But the episode itself also aired on Christmas Eve. In fact, it aired on Christmas Eve, 1961. So let's see what else was on television on Christmas Eve in 1961. Again, it's surprisingly a lot of new episodes of television that you didn't. It just was a different time then. Maybe they just thought families are home. I don't know. Or maybe they just didn't think of, maybe they couldn't run reruns. No, of course they could run reruns. In fact, this episode of Car 54, Where Are You? Aired on their Christmas time slot the following year. They aired it again. They just changed the beginning to have the season 2 opening. So this show is on NBC, but let's start at ABC. At ABC at 7:30 p.m. there was something called Follow the Sun. Mele Koeki Maka to You. So it must be a Hawaiian Christmas thing. At 8:30, The Lawman, followed by 9 o'clock, a brand new episode of Bus Stop. And then at 10 p.m., Adventures in Paradise. All new. On CBS, we don't see everything, but from 7 to 8, we have Lassie on... Lassie... See, Lassie's not a sitcom, but it is a half hour. Lassie had a Christmas episode, followed by a Christmas episode of Dennis the Menace, but not the Dennis the Menace episode that I watched. Then it doesn't say what was on at 8, 8:30, or 9, but at 9... Oh, no, a little after 9, before 9:30. No, at 9:30. God, I can't tell. It's the Jack Benny Show at 9:30, a new episode called Christmas Party. And then at 10:30, What's My Line? But over on NBC, we have a very light listing here. The only thing we see from 7 to 8:30, the only thing we see is the Bullwinkle Show on at 7. At 8:30 is this episode, Car 54, Where Are You? Followed at 9 by a brand new episode of Bonanza. So that is your television listings for December 24th, 1961. 3 stations. Take your pick. You got to watch one of them because there's nothing else on. And so, my friends, that is it. Another night in the books. 23 days down, 2 days to go. My goodness gracious, we're almost to the end. We're almost to Christmas. I can feel it. It's nice to be on vacation. It's Tuesday night, and tomorrow is Christmas Eve, and I'm going to my buddy's house. And then we have Christmas Day, and I go to my brother's house, and it's just, I can't wait. And then after that, we get another week and a half of vacation coming. So I am excited. I'm excited to be on vacation. I'm very excited to not be podcasting for a few days. I haven't pretty much had a day off of podcasting in almost 2 months based on some shows that I work on and shows that I do. And it's been a lot. I think today I calculated that since October, I put out 93 podcasts or something along the lines. A lot of podcasts since October 1st. And then in November, I was like, it got even, like October is when I started kicking in, and I was doing a rewatch for my Stranger Things podcast. I was really getting that caught up in time for the new season. And then November, it really took off. And then here we are in December where the new season's here, plus Sitcom All You Faithful, plus Fine Movies, Fine Spirits, plus Patriots Afterthoughts. There is a lot going on. I am busy with nonsense and I love it. I guess I love it more than sleep, but I'm going to go do that right now. However, I will be back tomorrow, but I won't be alone. Ooh, there's a little preview right there. I will see you then, my friends. But until then, you can follow me on all the socials at Geek Mentality, except TikTok, which is Geek Mentality Mike. The Facebook page is Fans Not Experts. The YouTube channel is Fans Not Experts. That's because the website is fansnotexperts.com. That's it. I'm done. Did I sound like Admiral Akbar right there? It's a trap. I'll see you tomorrow, my friends. All right. Thank you for listening. Thank you for subscribing. Happy Christmas Eve. And until tomorrow, here is my theme song.
This is my podcast. I made it. Geek Mentality's what I named it. And I think you should listen and subscribe. 'Cause I'm kinda funny and awesome. I think that I'm worth your time, and I'm kinda handsome. My mom says, please listen and please subscribe. At least listen to this episode.
Fans Not Experts.